Hey guys, it's Chris, and welcome to Toned and Toneful, the self-actualization video podcast, episode number 61, Certainty in Uncertain Times. So before we get this week's episode started, I wanted to say just happy holiday to those who are enjoying this later part of the year. There are a lot of different types of celebrations that happen at the end of the year, and I just wanted to take a moment to say that here in America, we're celebrating a holiday. It's going to be, Thanksgiving today here in America, and a lot of people maybe might not celebrate the original reason anymore, but they like to celebrate being with their family. So we try to keep it at that, and I hope that all the people who are out there enjoying different holidays from different religions and everything that you do, you guys are having a great day yourselves, and you're having a great time of year, even though things are very uncertain. So this episode, though, it's brought to you from the point of thinking about how we can become more certain in uncertain times. This is to be looked at as something that's positive. It's to be looked at as something that actually represents thankfulness. So in this episode, not only do I want to thank you guys for listening to Toned and Toneful for, the last it's crazy to think that now it's 3 years since the beginning, 3.5 years since the first episode came out. But there are a lot of people who have been dedicated to Toned and Toneful, so I want to say thank you to you guys. And this is the first episode that will come with a rubric. So without any more ado, please let me get started because this is such an important subject. So this week we were talking about certainty in uncertain times. And you can kind of read throughout history. You can look at the fall of the Rome Empire. You can look at Greek history. You can look at different, Egyptian history. You can look at all these different cultures and social, these countries or, social, mindsets that are adapted to make, culture in any country rise and fall. The mindset comes and goes, the group of people come and go, and so does their maybe height of strength, power, and importance and dominance in the world cycle. And when we go from a place in our life that we have such certainty, such dominance, and we go into a place where we're uncertain, that's one of the hardest transitions that can happen in life to anyone's, not only their real physical life because things are changing, but their psychology because of what they're seeing, that feeling of loss, that feeling of desperation and searching for more can actually set a lot of people off into a certain mindset where they feel afraid, or they feel that they are searching more for things that would be better for them. And so in that way, we have to kind of take account of what's going well in our life to be able to juxtaposition that against what's going on in a larger context for ourselves without feeling offended, without judging our life as if the person next to us, we deserve the same things that they deserve for so many reasons, which is actually hard to tell ourselves no to. So, I've come up with a few things that I wanted to go over for you guys to think about this holiday, season all the way to the end of the year as we tie up this year and kind of think about what certain things mean to us, because I think there's a lot to take away from our relationships, and there's a lot to take away from the things that are valuable in our life because they are the driving factors and they are the inspiration points that help us do the projects that we want to do creatively, that drive our inner passion, that stems beyond just surviving, like eating food and finding water. So one, I want you to take a moment to think about if you have a pet, a person, a hobby, or if you have a passion for something that you're able to focus on throughout your days. I want you to take a moment to think about how much that actually means, whether it's 30 to 40 minutes that you take for yourself to play your instrument, whether that's the time you take with your loved one to go out on a date and have some awesome sushi or something. Or that could be you taking a moment to go see your parents and the people who do matter, that, you think back on the memories of your childhood and how much they loved you, and you're taking care of them now as an adult, or you're looking to do that. And all these things are actually a gift. It's a gift to be able to have anything, whether that's even a plant that you care for. I want to throw it in there. We're lucky to have anything that we are to care for and to be able to bring our energy and time to in life and see it in real time change. And that is such a gift. If you're playing music and you're hearing what's coming out of the amp or out of your guitar, and you can just appreciate how much work you've put into it and realize how lucky you are to be able to have focused, 40 minutes a day, an hour a day. And some of us lucky enough to even focus multiple hours a day on our passions because we're determined and we have this situation that allows us to do it, which is just a gift. We should really be looking at all the factors and variables in our lives as gifts. So that hobby, the time that we're allowed to have to exercise that hobby, to exercise the craft and knowledge that we're gaining, the ability to share that, to find spaces and places in this world where you can take that talent and exercise it and demonstrate it for those who might be interested, are looking to and have that in their life, and you can be a turning point for them, whether that's an inspiration or you teach them of a whole new depth or level of a certain hobby, or you just become a friend to them and they realize that your personalities click and you have someone that no matter what happens in life, you can hit them up and let them know what's going on. I was just spending some time with a friend who's very dear to me the other day, and he's from out of town. And one of the things that was really cool about getting to spend a moment with him is we've done so many music projects, like with guitars and things, that it's just awesome to be able to like pick up where you left off with a friend and be like, yo, remember this bridge? And then it's just like, the conversation continues right there. I felt very, very grateful that there are people who I've had in my life for years and years and years, and I can just continue conversations where they left off, and neither one of us live in the mindset where there's any blame or any problem. We just continue from where we know that we can, because that's what life is. It's about that continuation and that inconsistency. And in that inconsistency, there's a lot of uncertainty. And if you can learn that you can be in a level of uncertainty all the time and it's okay, you'll start to become strong. And actually, you might even do it a lot in daily life and not realize it, and just might not know how to apply it to maybe other things that you don't see, that you're still having a hard time being thankful for, or you're having a hard time seeing that you're blessed with. Sometimes it's an interesting battle to see what's in our life and feel good about that kind of certainty. But for example, when you drive a car, when you put on a seatbelt or you ride a bike and you put on a helmet, there becomes a certain level of certainty that you now ride with, right? You can drive a little more confidently with a seatbelt on than you can without it, right? You feel like if I get in a bad accident, at least something's there to catch me a little bit. And then you add in the airbag, and the airbag is bringing a little more certainty to this. But the funniest thing about all these, things that we put into a car, like, seatbelt, airbag, is they bring some certainty to our survival, but they actually bring no certainty to whether that accident will happen or not. So you might on one hand have the ability to survive the accident, which is an amazing thing. The thing we should be planning for is things will happen and we're going to survive them. And you do that in a car every day because you have enough guarantee that you go, hey, if something bad enough happens, there's some safety parameters here to set up to save my life. I'm not trying to crash at 90 miles an hour, but you do understand that if you crash at 30 miles an hour, there's enough pieces in a car that could protect you. Now on my end, as I look at this world and I look at like how a lot of people approach it, many are almost at the point where they want to guarantee that nothing will happen to them at any of the times. They don't want to feel a large amount of discomfort. They don't want to have a large learning curve. They don't want to put themselves out there and put themselves at a risk of, when we put ourselves out there, there's a risk of a lot of things happening, but there's no certainty in this world. And our world doesn't reward actual people who just feel uncertain and want everything to be risk-free. Our world rewards those who take risks no matter what kind of world it is. And that's kind of an interesting to the whole survival of the fittest thing, is like humans really do live in a world where we are still challenged, just like the animals who live around us, to be actually doing the best that we can to survive. So when you take a moment this week to think about what you're thankful for in your life that you can focus on, what you're thankful for in your life that you're bringing into this world and that you have, and start getting to the micro levels. Like, understand that you having a plant that you can water because you have water to put into a bucket to water the plant. Remember, there's someone in this world who would do anything to cleanse that little bit of water that you poured into that plant and just drink it. So just be aware of how lucky we are. Be aware of how much fortitude that most of us really do have. I have an iPhone. I mean, an iPhone's like a spaceship, you know what I mean? Compared to, not having an iPhone, think about 30 years ago, like how much more thankful I can be, how much easier things are for me. So I'm willing to put that extra effort on the back end where I need to make up where these tools are making it easier, where my friends and family are making emotional things easier when they listen to me, when they hear me out, when I hear them out. I actually can feel their relief, and I feel relief knowing I can be a place where they can put burden. And I can be a place where they can put happiness too. They can tell me about their best day and I won't be jealous. I want to see my family and friends win. When you guys tell me great things that are happening for you, any of the Tonefuls, I'm just like juiced, because we are really a big group of people who are really intelligent and really working on ourselves inside to try to be better. So, the fact that there's 149 people on this Instagram already shows how amazing that the world can be, that I can meet 149 of you, and I can't wait to meet more. So as we tie up this week's lesson, I just want to say that I am thankful for you guys. If you can put the word turkey, here's what you are getting. My new song, Celestial Promise, is almost done. When it is finished being mixed, I will be having a listening party with those who type the word turkey. The ones who have typed the word several times before, I will be also offering something really cool for you guys. Once we do the little listening party, I'll announce it there. So you guys have a great day. Have a great holiday kind of time period. Remember, be thankful, and above all else, stay toned in